Hello everybody and welcome back to X4 6.0 Kingdom End. Today we're going to be checking out mining, from everything from the basics all the way up to advanced mining and the problems that you might get along the way, just to try and help you actually start mining in the game. Now this isn't going to tell you how to get miners. Obviously that bit is just basically trying to do missions, get money and then purchasing them from your wharfs or from your shipyards. This is when you're starting to look to do mining, what pitfalls there are, and some things to keep an eye out for. Today we're going to be using boron ships just because it is the boron release, so therefore we're going to have the boron ships out. However, all of what we do today is completely across the board, so whatever it is you're doing, other than having different production side of things, mining is across the board, and it also works for you if you don't have any of the DLCs as well. The same concept applies across the board, so no need to worry about that. Now, without further ado, let's get straight into this guide and let's have a look at some of the basic things to begin with. If you are a returning player and you know some of this and you just want to look for the tips, then I suggest skipping this first little bit because this is going to be a little bit tedious. But for those of you who are completely new to X4, let's talk about the main important thing about mining, and that is what you're looking for. So if you're playing a young start, or if you've only got the base game, which is why we're in Argon Prime, then you're going to be here in Argon Prime. So I'm going to use this as my base of operations for the beginning part of this video. You'll notice there is this little red kind of wavy line through. This is an asteroid belt. In game, if you go into this area here, you'll notice this is actually an asteroid belt. So you can actually fly through the asteroids. They are physically there, and that's what your miners actually break down and take the minerals from. There are varying aspects of asteroid belts, so you can have a belt itself like this. This is an actual belt. Or you can have complete fields, which is what this is here. This is a complete asteroid field. There are areas where there are high gases, which is where your gas comes from, and they're shown as a different colour. So how do you know what's what? Well, the easiest thing to do is to use the legend that we've got here. So this here tells you everything, and this is useful for anything that you do, but the thing we want to look at is the beginning bit here. Unknown sector, which is this grey fog here, which is where we just haven't been yet. We've got mineral region, so we know this is mainly minerals. We have a gas region. Now, I don't have a gas region available at the moment to show you, because there aren't many of them. They're usually a mixture, and we have the mixture, which is this one here. You'll see it here. All around here. This is a mixture of gas and minerals, so if you sent in a mineral ship, there will be some gases that you could collect with a different type of ship. So with that being said, you need to work out where you want to work from, knowing this information. Obviously, at the beginning, you don't know this information. You gain something like this. You'll land in an area and you'll go, right, okay, this is actually an asteroid field, so I know that if I expand that, I'll probably find a larger area. But sometimes you get areas like this where there is absolutely no information for us for mining. So then we've got to do things like go out scouting and start looking around. You may already have a sector available if you've got the HQ, if you're starting a little bit later on, where you get absolutely no information on how to get there. So the first thing I suggest you do is go about and do a bit of scouting. And what I do is I get myself a little basic ship. It doesn't have to be your actual miner that you're going to use. A scout ship is preferable because they're a lot faster. And actually start deploying certain things. The first thing I'd look at deploying is actually not on board this ship. It's on board this ship. It is a satellite. And what I do is I go around all the points where ships are going to be coming in and out, which is the jump gates. Other places you might want to consider, and this is all relevant for mining, and I'll explain shortly why it is. Other places you might want to consider is wharfs and shipyards, or specific like areas like silicon refineries. Obviously going to need silicon, so maybe put like a drop one right in the middle there. You're going to get the hull parts and the silicon. And the reason why we want satellites is basically, think of satellites as a post box. When ships pass through your range of satellites, they will update the information that they know that are relevant to themselves. That includes what trade they're completing, what trades are available that they've done, and you get some information along the lines of what minerals are required and stuff like that. So you start to produce a picture of economy. For miners, that is extremely important because obviously you want to sell your resources at the highest cost possible. Now, what does that actually look like on the map? Well, you'll notice here we've got nice vibrant blue colours. You'll notice here these are also nice vibrant blue colours and vibrant green. You'll always have vibrant green because they are what you use. Again, vibrant blue, vibrant blue. All these here are all vibrant blue. When you get things that are dull blue, like all of these here, and all these here, these are areas that we don't know what they have on offer. Now, the way you stop it from happening is by using the satellites. And then they're updated with trade offers, requirements, and sometimes you can also get information about what their storage is and stuff like that. But they become this nice vibrant blue colour. So that's why we want to be using satellites for our miners. Definitely for our economy side of things, but miners, yes, because we want to sell our mineral. Why is that important? Because when you start mining with a basic miner, you're going to have very little that you can actually do with your miner. What do I mean by that? Well, obviously we want to get into mining automation as fast as possible. But when you start getting miners, you're going to be low on skill, low on available staff. So you're not going to be able to put in a really good captain in this. You're not going to be able to put a really good crew in it. So our automated mining is very limited. And you can see that here. All we have available is local auto mine. We want advanced and expert. Preferably expert, which requires 4 stars of your skill. If you'd like to know more about skills, there is a video all about pilot skills and how you can gain them and how they do affect things overall. But right now I'm talking just mining. So all we can do is local auto mine. So if we set a local auto mine, we don't know what words we want. Now we know we've got a silicon refinery and a whole part refinery, and we only know that because we've done a bit of a scouting. If you're doing this completely blind, then you're going to have to guess, and you're going to have to do a bit of guesswork. So in this area here, where it currently is, you got ice, nevidium, ore, and silicon that you can mine. So in this area here, we want to look, well, I know there's a silicon refinery, so I'm going to go for silicon. And you see it set its anchor space to Argon Prime. That doesn't mean it's going to mine silicon. What you're doing is you're telling it you want it to mine silicon.
Awaiting orders.
And it's going to attempt to mine the silicon. But if there is no silicon available in this sector, it will stop and do nothing. So, and I see this question all the time, and I see it in my comment section. Why is my miner just stopped doing nothing? You'll see that my miner is currently actually on board my flagship, so it isn't actually doing nothing. But when it goes out, it'll start floating around like this miner is here. Now this miner is actually stopped purposefully, but it will look like that a little bit, and it may move around a little bit, but it generally does absolutely nothing. That's because there's no mineral available that you've been able to detect. 2 things we can do about that. And like I said, this is complete basics, this, so I do apologise if you already know this, but I do want to go through everything and try to cover things so that we know that everything is covered. 2 things we can do. Number 1, we can do trial and error. So after a while, if it's not mined anything, then what we'll do is we will... That should now actually start mining. So what we can do is we can then change this to a different mineral. So ore, ice, or nevidium. And it will then start to try and look for them minerals instead. But doing that, we could then come up with problem number 2. And is that sales. Again, if the miner is just floating around but it has a full storage, and you can check that by going onto your information here. If you don't know how to get onto all of these menus, then I suggest checking out one of my earlier guides where it does go through all of the menus. As I said, this is mainly talking about mining, so I'm going off the precepts that you may know a little bit about the menu. But yeah, if you go to your information, you'll see that it's got fill capacity. If this is filled full and it's still floating around doing nothing, then it means there are no sales available for you to sell to. So there may be a silicon refinery. Does it actually want anything? If we look at logical overview, we have no idea. After a while, it'll start giving us our sales, and then our ships will scan, and it will pick up on some of that material, some of that information. But we're relying on what it's got trade offers for. And you can have a look at your trade offers because we've got it scouted, because it's in range of one of our satellites or in range of a ship that has been near there, that has updated us with the update. So we can see that it's got a sell offer for silicon wafers, which is what it produces, and it's got a very tasty buy offer, almost 100,000 silicon ore. You can see that it's currently got a 16% average price increase. That's good for us, so when our miner finally finds silicon, then it will mine for us. Back to our initial problem, it's not mining any materials. We've tried to resolve it from issue number 1 with trial and error. Again, we don't know whether mining it and then selling it's going to work. So next best thing we can do is actually deploy resource probes. Resource probes will detect an area, and you'll see these little circles around. That's where they will update any of our miners. Just because you deploy a resource probe does not mean your miner will go to said resource probe. If it knows of better resources in the area, it will go to that first. It will always prioritize the better area. However, the resource probes keeps you updated, and if your miners are struggling, they will go to them areas and mine the resources that they can pick up on. You can see here that resource probe is actually not telling us anything at all. You can see it's got 3 scanning range. Same as that one, but that one's actually picked up something. You can see the resources there is very little ore and very little silicon. This area here is a very busy area, and it doesn't have much in the way. It's got a scattering of ore and silicon in the area. If we now go to an area where I've dropped a resource probe recently, you'll see here it's got a massive supply of ore. So if we wanted to do ore mining, this is the area we would go to, which is the Reach. You'll notice I've also deployed satellites, one on the jump gate and one by the parts factory. Parts factory is one of the things that's going to require ore. You'll see it's got a buy offer for graphene and refined metals. So that's your whole part factory. So here it's going to need refined metals, which is where our ore comes into place. So now we need to find, well, what the hell is the refined metal place? So then you need to go around scouting and finding refined metals. If your ship knows of sales of refined metals, it may actually find it for you, but very rarely it does that. I'm just double checking. I don't have another resource probe out. Nope. So I can see at a glance, I've only got the one resource probe picking up ore. So I know categorically there is ore available in this area here. So if my miner's not picking up ore, there is a third and final problem that it could be, that it very rarely is, but still something to check. And that is, has it got damage to the ship? Does it not have any mining drones? Does it not have a mining laser? They are sometimes relevant, but very rarely. So, we know how to get the minerals. We know how to find them. We know how to locate them. We know if there's going to be an issue with not doing it. Let's have a look now very quickly at an advanced miner that I've got set up here. So you'll see here there's a 5-star skill. You'll see that it's currently deploying objects. So I've set it up with some things to do, so it can deploy satellites and stuff like that. What I can then do is I can go to it and go Expert Auto Mine. The reason why this is brilliant is because prices fluctuate throughout, and relying on one resource, you're going to dry up the market, especially if you've got multiple miners doing it in a small area. So if we started collecting ore, the likelihood is our sales for ore will dry up for a while. So I want to go, well actually I want you to collect all the wares. I want you to use argon primer as the anchor space, but now I'm happy for you to jump up to 15 gates distance to mine. And I'm happy for you to sell within them 15 gate jumps. What that means is it's going to find the best possible place to mine for value, then it's going to sell it for its best price possible. So it takes a quick glance at what you know from all of your satellites and goes, right, well, this area here may want to purchase silicon for a higher price than anywhere else. However, the area that I'm in has very little silicon, and it's going to take me a while to mine it. I know of an area that has 2-star silicon. I'm going to go there, I'm going to start mining there, and then I'm going to come back and sell it to the station that has the higher price. That's basically what Expert Auto Mine does. The Advanced Auto Mine just does it, but not quite as good. You also notice with the Expert Auto Mine, so this is advanced, where you get, it'll say, right, well, I'll let you mine up to 5, and I'll let you sell up to 5. Expert Auto Mine allows you to increase that by another 10, but also allows you to set a minimum gate distance. And the reason why that's relevant is because if you've got a lot of miners working in the reach, where you maybe first started, you go, right, I really need you to stay out of reach. Argon Prime is its current anchor point, so I want to go, well, I want it to jump at least 2 gates away. Reach is 1 gate jump, so it'll still go to the reach if you set it to 1. If you set it to 2, it'll go, well, reach is only 1 jump away. I need to go further afield, so I'll go 2 jumps away. That's why Expert Auto Mine is a really, really good thing. So, we've covered the reasons why your miners may not work. We've covered how to locate areas. We've covered some solutions to some of the problems. We've also covered why Expert Auto Mine is the better option to go. If you want to know how you can get your Expert Auto Mine, then check out the pilot video where it shows you pilot stars, so you can see how you can upgrade your stars a lot quicker. Advanced Auto Mine just does just as good a job as Expert does, just Expert is a little bit more refined, so you want to aim for Advanced as soon as you can. You can also do mining manually. We're not going to do manual mining on this today. We will do a separate video where we go through doing things yourself. But since this is a economy building game, I want to talk about the overall on these videos. The final thing I want to talk about, and the meta, the thing that's going to make you the most money, is mining outposts. What do I mean by mining outposts? Well, simply put, it's an area that stores all of your minerals. Why is that useful? Well, if we go to our logical overview, you'll notice that there's absolutely nothing on this logical overview. If we go to station configuration, you'll see it's basically a docking platform with some sort of storage. You notice it's got solid and container storage. That's actually wrong for what we want. What I actually want is I want a large that's small. Let's go for large solid. So I want a large solid and a large liquid. You can build this however you want. I'm just setting this as an example. And then going to give it its money. Then going to zoom out and find my builders. There we go. Right. So that a large solid, well, any size solid and any size liquid, plus a docking platform, is all you need to be able to make the meta of money making. If we now go to a logical station overview, drones allow you to unload large ships at a faster capacity, faster pace. Really useful to have, so always keep your drones in stock. You'll notice here we've got an option that says select trade wares. What I usually do, as one of my first things that I want to do, is pick a specific thing. It makes it cheaper, because as you noticed I had to build 2 storages. I had to build solid and liquid. That's if you want to do the ultimate meta. If you want to do a standard meta, then all you need is one of them. So for me, I choose solid. I'm in the reach, it's full of ore. I'm going to go, right, well, I'm wanting to get just ore. So you go down to your tradeware, you go to ore, you confirm it. Now you have the option to have ore. You can see it's a solid storage type, you can see how much storage you have. You can see that we're making no production and no consumption. Only storing it. We want to create a buy offer, we want to create a sell offer. Your first buy offer, automatic buy amount, means your manager will buy from anything currently. It will set an automatic price on which it will buy. You don't need to change either of them currently. If your station doesn't buy the resources from your miners, which it should do, you can remove this and set it to maximize. You can also have it where if you want more ore than silicon, you can adjust it. So you go, right, well, I only want 50% ore, 50% silicon. Or you can set it where it does it automatically, and it will work it out for itself. I usually leave it to be automatic. The final thing we want to do for our buy offer is we want to do a station trade rule. You'll notice here, if I press on the use station settings to remove it, it allows me to do the drop down. You see that I've currently got no restrictions. I want to create or edit a trade rule. I then want to go to my trade rules here, create new trade rule. I want to call it faction only. Set the trade rule as default if you so wish. So you can actually set it to default anything that you want. I don't want to set it as default at the moment, but what I do want is to restrict all factions. Additionally, allowed factions, rugged gamer. That means it is my faction only. I'm going to save that trade rule. We're then going to go back. We're then going to take down our drop down, and we've now got our faction only. You now see it's got a trade restriction applied to this where, so it has a little circle with a cross in it. This now effectively means it will only buy ore from our ships, from our faction. That means you're not buying ore from a third party, so you're effectively not spending any money. The downside to that is if you forget about that and you purchase minerals on a ship manually, this station may buy them. So just bear that in mind. The next thing you want is a sell offer. You want automatic sell amount. I generally change that, so I'll drop it and I'll sell all but 0 or but 1. It doesn't actually go to 0. What that means is it's going to attempt to sell absolutely everything in this. If you've got stations relying on this to supply it, then you can adjust it. You can set it to have it where it's automatic, or you can have it where it goes, well, I always need 10,000 as a backup, so then I can drop that whenever I need it. Automatic pricing, that is totally up to you. If you want to sell it faster, you can have a look at the current prices and you can reduce it to below that, or you can set it to the absolute lowest and always sell. I generally go for automatic pricing because as your manager gets higher in level, it will get better at pricing things and it will make it quicker in trades, and it also means your manager also levels up. We don't need to change the trade rule because we want it to sell to any faction because we want to make money. If you're using this as a relay station, that's when you may turn around and go, actually, I just want it to be my own faction. However, or silicon, all that kind of stuff, I don't mind if it relays it, and I don't mind if it sells it to a third party. I really don't mind. You can use multiple stations to expand your sales availability. So if you place this, so say this has a limit of 3 stations away, then you can then put another one on, and you can do that. We don't need to do anything here, so we're going to just drop that down now, and that's all set. What that then means is now, effectively, we don't need to do anything with it. It's done, dusted. It's all set, but it's not going to make us much money. What we then want to do is we want to get ourselves miners. Standard miners, whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter about the skill. Absolutely relevant skill. So this is good to put all of your low-level skills away from your other ships that you're using. You then want to right-click on your station. You then want to go to Mine for Commander or Trade for Commander. Keep a nice balance. Mine for Commander is your buy. Trade for Commander is your sell. Trade for Commander will also buy from any of your other stations that it may have available in its area. But right now we want it to Mine for Commander because third-party people can buy the ore from the station itself. What you now notice is it does auto mine. It does a 1-star auto mine. Far, far better than your local auto mine. Because it'll go, it wants wares, ore, because that's the only one that's available. If we had silicon, it would do silicon as well. And then it goes,
Striking.
maximum gate distance of 5 jumps. It's not a local auto mine. So what that means is it's going to go further afield to find the minerals, find better locations, and hopefully do it. And then it'll go to sell. Well, it doesn't really matter. It's going to sell to that station anyway. That does base off our commander. You know, so this commander is a 5-star. If our commander was a 1-star, that would be a lower number, but it would still have advanced auto mining. That means it will mine multiple minerals, so ore and silicon. So there you have it. There are the main ways you can do mining when it's not including yourself. And my suggestion is that you try and do this little station setup. That is the best way of making money. It's also a great way where your crew will take a long time to level up, because the manager is the one that's doing all the skills. But it does allow you to fluctuate your crew around and move people, so anybody who's low level can go into the ships that are automated by the stations, and any higher level ones can go into your standard ships. The final thing I want to say, just to finish off, is a reason why you may want to go for larger mining ships. What's the advantage? The advantage to small ships is they're fast, nimble, but they don't have much capacity. If you're in an area like the Reach, and you have a station that is surrounded by minerals, which this one currently is, you'll notice my small miner is nowhere to be seen, because it's going to go off and mine somewhere. So it's going all the way over there. It's going to mine somewhere that's available better than most areas, hopefully. Having a larger capacity, albeit slower, means that the mining ship isn't going back and forward as much. That has its own uses. Number one, it's not going to be spending more time travelling, so it's going to gather more resources and bring it more in bulk. Number two, it also has less risk of being intercepted by the enemy. That being said, if you're in an area that's in a hot area, so hot zones, with a Kar'ak or the Xenon, or the pirate ships come in and pillage your ships, then you definitely need large miners. They can withstand a pounding. They also have an advantage that if they go through sectors that are dangerous sectors, which you'll find in the game, their shields are far superior and can survive passing through them areas. Hazardous regions is what they're normally called. They will pass through them and usually don't take any damage to their hull. Then they release drones, and the drones do the mining. So the ship stays still, the drones go out and mine, and they don't waste time trying to maneuver a ship to break down the minerals that they need. So that's just the small advantages of having a larger ship. Having the large miner also has its drawbacks. You need a docking port rather than the small and medium ones. So the small and medium is your early game, your large and potentially extra large, which I don't generally go for extra large unless I want to go in a large area. You want to aim for large once you can build yourself docking platforms. The last thing to point out as well is large miners can also sell minerals at a high capacity. So if you're trying to do some trades, you can set it to do trading for you, and it can go back and forward to your large stations and sell minerals. But bear in mind, the NPCs, all of these factions here, may also not have docking platforms or drones, so it will slow down your sales. Medium miners are underrated. They can be great for making quick sales and quick minerals, so consider that. Hopefully that covers everything to do with mining. Hopefully it's helped you out if you've been struggling, or if you may be wondering why things are happening. If there are other things that I haven't covered in here, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I will make sure I get back to you, and I will give you an answer. If I haven't already done something to cover it, then I will mention it in one of my other videos, in a Q&A video, on a follow-on video, or anything like that. So please feel free to leave comments. I will get back to you and help you as best I can. If you want more in-depth help, remember we do have a Discord where we have plenty of X4 players with hours upon hours of experience where we can help you out in any aspect of the game, and usually can do it straight there and then for you. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up if you haven't already done so. Subscribe if you aren't already a member. And remember, if you do want to join us, there is always the Discord for other games as well as X4. But until next time, everybody, take care for now, and I shall see you all on the next one. Bye bye for now.